If you're a caregiver, particularly for someone with dementia, you are on one of the toughest, most challenging journeys anyone can take. It's a path that's defined by this incredible love, but also, let's be honest, by a profound kind of strain and a very unique type of grief. Today, we're going to walk through that experience, what many call the long goodbye, and really get into the science of why you feel so burned out. I want you to see that you're not alone, and what you're feeling, it's completely real.
This quote, it just hits right at the heart of it all. It's from a researcher who lost her own grandmother to Alzheimer's, and it captures this whole experience perfectly. This idea of losing someone twice. First, you lose them bit by bit, as the person you knew starts to fade. And then comes the final physical goodbye. It's not a sprint of grief, it's a marathon of mourning.
You know, this feeling, it actually has a name. It's called anticipatory grief. It's the grief that you feel before the final loss has even happened. It's the mourning that happens every single time a memory slips away, or another piece of their personality just vanishes. Just giving it a name can be so powerful because it proves that this isn't just something in your head, it's a real, recognized part of this journey.
Okay, now we really need to talk about what's happening inside your brain during all of this. Because those moments of frustration, the sheer exhaustion, the things you say or do that you later regret, I promise you, these are not character flaws. They're not failures on your part. They are predictable biological responses to chronic, unrelenting stress.
It's the question that just eats you up with guilt, isn't it? You love this person with all your heart. You're trying so hard. So why do you find yourself losing your patience over the same question asked for the 10th time? Well, the answer isn't in your heart. It's in your brain chemistry. It's about how stress physically reshapes your brain over time.
Think of it like this. There's a constant tug-of-war going on inside your head. On one side, you have your amygdala. That's your brain's fire alarm. Under chronic stress, it goes into overdrive, becoming super reactive. It's on a hair trigger. On the other side, you have your prefrontal cortex. That's the calm, rational CEO of your brain. But it's getting worn out, just exhausted. So you're left with a hyperactive alarm system and a manager that's too tired to shut it off. That is the biological recipe for snapping.
And listen, this isn't just happening in your brain. The stress takes a toll on your entire body. We're talking about constantly elevated levels of stress hormones like cortisol. We're talking about a weakened immune system, which is why you might be getting every cold that goes around. It can even lead to accelerated aging right down at the cellular level. This is a full-body crisis, not just an emotional one.
So how do you know when you've crossed a line from just being stressed to being in a state of total burnout? Well, it's usually a slow descent. Recognizing these stages is so important because it helps you see them for what they are, symptoms that your nervous system has been pushed way past its limits, not a sign that you've somehow failed.
It usually builds in about 4 stages. It starts with just stress. You feel overwhelmed, a little anxious. Then it deepens into what's called entrenchment, and this is when caregiving takes over your entire life. From there, it moves into exhaustion, that bone-deep chronic fatigue where you can feel your physical health starting to slip. And that leads to the final stage, disengagement. And this one is so important to understand.
Let's just sit with that final stage for a second, because this is where so much of the guilt lives. That feeling of being emotionally numb, of being detached, what they call compassion fatigue. It can feel like you've just stopped caring. But you have to know this. It is a biological defense mechanism. Your brain is essentially blowing a fuse to protect itself from overwhelming emotional pain. It's not a failure of love. It's an act of neurological self-preservation. Okay, so understanding the biology behind all this is a massive first step. The next step is action. What can we actually do? We need to find practical, manageable strategies to keep you from going under. These are your lifelines. And it's not about getting rid of the stress. That's impossible. It's about managing it so it doesn't completely consume you.
I want you to let this message sink in. Really absorb it. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's not a luxury you get to if you have a spare moment. It is an absolute, non-negotiable necessity. It's the whole put your own oxygen mask on first rule. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. It's just not possible.
So what does this actually look like in real life? First, it's about setting boundaries. You have to accept that you cannot do this all by yourself. And the second piece, and this is so freeing, is to shift your goal. Your job is not to cure an incurable disease. That is an impossible burden. Your goal is to provide comfort, to provide safety. Reframing it that way can lift a tremendous weight off your shoulders.
Second, you have to fight the isolation with everything you've got.
Caregiving can feel like the loneliest job in the world, but I promise, you are not the only one feeling this way. Find your people, whether it's trusted friends, an online support group, or a therapist. Sharing this emotional weight isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Connection is the absolute antidote to burnout.
And here's another vital tool: respite care. That means bringing in professional help to give yourself a real, actual break. I know for so many this can feel like admitting defeat, but it is the exact opposite. It is a strategic move that allows your nervous system to finally switch out of that constant fight-or-flight mode and actually begin to recover. It's not just a nice idea, it's a necessity for long-term survival in this role.
All right, for this last part, I want to talk about the power of perspective. This journey is, without a doubt, one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But the story we tell ourselves about it, that can have a profound impact, not just on how we feel emotionally, but on our physical health too.
This is that critical shift in focus we were just talking about. Instead of trying to climb the impossible mountain of finding a cure, you start to redefine what victory looks like. A victory is a moment of connection. It's a shared smile. It's a peaceful afternoon. A successful day becomes one where your loved one felt safe and they felt loved. That becomes the win.
And get this isn't just some feel-good platitude. The science here is absolutely mind-blowing. Research shows that caregivers who manage to find a sense of purpose or meaning in what they're doing, they actually show less shortening of their telomeres over time. Telomeres are these little protective caps on our DNA, and when they shorten, it's a major sign of cellular aging. So think about that. Finding meaning in this struggle can literally, physically slow down the aging process in your body. That's incredible.
So how do we get there? How do we find that meaning? It all begins with self-compassion. It's about looking at this list and really taking it to heart. It means recognizing that when you slip up emotionally, it's a normal part of the journey. It's understanding that feeling burned out is a symptom, not a personal failure. And it's about forgiving yourself. Period.
And that really brings us to the most important question of all. You give so much compassion, so much patience, so much love to the person you care for every single day. The question I want to leave you with is this: how can you start offering just a little bit of that same incredible compassion back to yourself? Because your survival, your health, and your well-being depend on it.